Dame Dash went on the Breakfast Club earlier today, and the entire interview was a huge car crash, man. Dame Dash went off on Charlamagne the God, threatened to beat him up. It was very clear from the first second of this interview, Dame Dash came in with an agenda. And the agenda of this interview was to get revenge on the Breakfast Club for all the smack they've been talking about him over the last year or so.
I don't think you're a proper representation of the masculine black man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you guys are.
I'm listening.
Okay. Like, your OG is Wendy Williams.
Before we even continue, we kind of have to pause real quick and take a step back and discuss, how do we get here? How do we get to where Dame Dash is on the Breakfast Club calling Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy's masculinity as men in question? He even told Charlamagne, your OG is Wendy Williams. That's to say that Charlamagne the God gossips for a living and gossips like a girl. He called Charlamagne the God a girl multiple times during this interview. Now, they've gotten to this point because Dame Dash was very upset about the commentary they've been given about Dame Dash over the last couple weeks, maybe the last year. More specifically, when they was discussing 50 Cent owning the rights to Paid in Full that was once owned by Dame Dash, they took the opportunity to take a dig at Dame Dash finances, even referencing the interview they did with Dame Dash 10 years ago, where Dame Dash is telling them to be a boss and not employees. They used that opportunity to say, aha, Dame Dash sunned us 10 years ago, but look what happened 10 years later. We up in Dame Dash's po.
Figure out, how did he lose?
How did he own it?
How did he lose the rights to Paid in Full, or did he even own the rights to Paid in Full? Because I just want to know the business. Like, Dame is always teaching the business. He's always teaching about ownership and being a boss. So I just want to know, how did 50 end up getting the rights? Because I thought Dame had the rights. I would assume. I don't know.
But are we still talking about this boss conversation? Like, is that a conversation that we're still having? That's the first thing he said. 50 Cent is his boss, and 50 said that's his partner on it. He's EPing with him, so I guess they're partners. But I hate this boss conversation because I hate the fact that people be like, I don't need no boss. I don't want no boss. Well, sometimes not having a boss will lead you into foreclosure and only having assets that lead up to $2,400.
Damn.
Like, you can't keep having this boss conversation without having a real conversation about entrepreneurship and what you need to do as an entrepreneur. We can't keep having these conversations.
Dan posted that old clip of him getting at you on Breakfast Club.
I ain't see that in a long time.
Got you a little hot this morning, huh?
Nah, that clip is amazing. That clip is amazing. If you see what happens within 10 years and then you look at that clip, you be like,
oh man,
somebody made a bad decision.
Well, I will.
What Dame Dash said to DJ Envy 10 years ago is obviously still lingering. DJ Envy still feels away, which is why DJ Envy is kicking Dame Dash back in. Now, the interaction, if you guys don't remember, Dame Dash told DJ Envy that he was a slave, and that he was a slave because he works at the radio station and he can't leave the radio station to his son. Even though DJ Envy, passionately, by the way, because Envy was screaming at the top of his lungs, was trying to explain to Dame Dash that because of the radio station, he now makes a lot of money and his son don't ever have to work a day in his life if he don't want to. Dame Dash dismissed Envy and said, that's not enough. You still an employee, so you a slave. And that made Envy tight.
That's my point. You have to understand what you're doing in business because you got to do what's best for your kids. What's best for your kids is to put your money into something, the stress, go through all of it, so when your child becomes a man, he doesn't have to work for nobody.
Right, well, that's the whole
thing. You can just pass it to him.
Now, you talk about...
So if you're going to work 20 years in a business or 15 years in a business every day over and over again, and your son can't work here whenever he feel like it, you clowning at me.
I don't want him to work
here. But
that's
I'm not saying you. If you owned it, wait a second.
I'm here because
time out.
I don't need a check.
That's stupid. You should
be
like time out.
Rap because he enjoy it, not because he want a check.
You're wrong.
I'm here because
I like
the
check. Wait, time out. Time out. You're lying.
I don't need
before you lose your control. Just stay focused.
Like you say, do your homework.
So here, listen to me.
I work here because I enjoy it.
Why don't you listen?
I work here for free.
Who could work? Would you ever enjoy being a slave?
I'm not. It's not a slave. This is what I enjoy.
That conversation between Dame Dash and Envy was important. It was one of the most important conversations I think the black community has ever received in the last 10 years. Now, the conversation was great in terms of promoting boss culture, promoting ownership, but where I feel like that conversation had somewhat of a negative impact on our culture is because boss culture has gotten out of control. People now feel like boss culture is the only way out. And if you decide to be an employee, you are less than. People even use employee as an insult now. Like, for example, I'm somebody who works for No Jumper, but I also have my own media company. I get called an employee as an insult when I don't see nothing wrong with working for a larger company while still having your own company, and it doesn't really interfere with what you got going on. Same as DJ Envy, he works at the radio station, but he's been able to utilize that to start other companies, and now he's a boss in his own right with those other companies, but he's an employee at the radio station. But that gets looked down upon. So I do believe Dame Dash did help carve the boss culture we currently see within ourselves. However, he did somewhat help because preaching ownership would never be a negative. Now, when Dame Dash came to the Breakfast Club this week, though, Dame Dash came with an attempt to discredit them, with an attempt to let the culture know, hey, these aren't the people y'all should be listening to. They're not credible. But do I believe that Dame Dash accomplished his mission? I don't. I think Dame Dash fell short because the angles that Dame Dash took or used to try to discredit him ain't really hit like that. Like, it was hilarious. The conversation was funny, but it ain't really hit or resonate. Like him calling Charlamagne the God gay or a girl. I don't think anybody looks at Charlamagne the God and thinks, yeah, he is the example of masculinity. Charlamagne the God is somebody who, like, he's funny, he's a straight shooter, and for the most part, he's been a staple in the culture for a while now, so he's grandfathered in. We don't look at Charlamagne the God as, I don't know, Andrew Tate or somebody, right? So trying to attack his masculinity doesn't really hit the same because Charlamagne the God, like, isn't successful because he presents himself as an uber masculine guy.
We're different. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that would, like, I'd rather get my ass whipped than run. But you're proud that you ran.
Yeah.
I'd rather get my ass whipped. And it ain't no disrespect, but I kind of think you're gay. You just act a little gay.
You got a problem with gay people?
Not at all. I've got a problem with people that pretend they're not gay. So let me tell you why.
But what if
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me.
This is hilarious. I love
you're
what
gay.
you're doing. This is hilarious.
So what I'm saying is, you might, because you started in gossip, which is is very feminine, and you want people to listen to you, and that we want people that represent masculinity because men need to be doing what they need to do as men. They don't need to be worried about girl stuff. Do you think he's masculine? Would you want this man around you if 10 guys jumped you? He'd run, and you'd have to run with him. I like my women to feel safe when they're around me. I don't tell people, like, and I'm not saying that's your way, but you're just not masculine. I've seen him run. I looked at a whole reel of, there's like a thing that says how many people bark. There's stuff that how many times you talk about other people's genitals. You real masculine men don't do that. You said that some guys was throwing you kisses because they liked your paws butt, and you went back. That's gay.
Why do you have such a problem with gay
I don't have a problem. I have a problem with you. Wait. No. Yeah, that is why I pause. There's a lot of people like you.
That's crazy.
There's a lot of people like you that are gay that pretend they're not.
Black men can't be gay.
I understand where he was heading to. It kind of fell flat because Charlamagne the God and Andrew Schultz been sex playing each other on Brilliant Idiots for a decade now. Nobody is looking at Andrew Schultz and Charlamagne the God and thinking, yeah, these guys are the epitome of straight. I think a lot of people already question Charlamagne the God's sexuality. That does nothing. Now, later on in this interview, Dame Dash does hit on something that if he would have hit on this earlier, I feel like if he would have stuck to this, he would have had them panicking. He brought up the fact that he believes that Charlamagne the God and the Breakfast Club are on payroll by Jay-Z, because it doesn't make sense why they have unwavering loyalty for Jay-Z, why they run point for Jay-Z, why every crisis Jay-Z is in, they come and play PR. Dame Dash was on to something with this one, but he ain't give us enough of this.
Talking, okay? So, because when y'all do that, I forget what I'm going to say because I be like, da-da-da.
You're not saying shit,
No, you don't think, of course you don't think that. I think you're gay.
That's fine.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. After the Puff stuff, cause let me say this. This is my assessment. I've never heard you say one thing bad about Jay-Z. Not one.
He's not in the room. You shouldn't talk about him.
Don't tell me what to do.
You said you shouldn't talk about men when you're not in the room.
You're interrupting me.
Now you're doing the girl stuff.
I know him. I'm giving you an example, right?
You used to know him.
Can I talk? You're upset. Can I talk?
I'm upset.
Can I talk? I've never seen you say one word, because you talk bad about a lot of people, but you never said one time. And you walk around with his face on your chest. Is that a airplane shirt right now?
Paper planes, yeah. I wore CEO stuff.
Can I finish? No, I never seen it. Let me finish.
What you mean?
Let me see.
You gave us
Can I
CEO
talk?
stuff.
Can I land the plane? Let me land the plane.
I can't wait.
Let me land the
I wear
plane.
CEO
So
stuff.
I'm thinking to myself, either you got a crush on this man or he's paying you. One or the other. Did you buy that shirt?
Yes.
You went and bought that? They didn't give it to you as much as you say
You're
nice
not supposed
things?
to support black business?
I doubt you bought that shirt.
What you mean?
Anyway,
and I buy CEO
so I
shirts
think
too.
you're gay. I'm sorry.
And I think
so,
you're broke.
Okay.
That's the route you would take if you wanted to really discredit them. But talking about DJ Envy's racketeering case or Charlamagne the God not being all the way straight does nothing, doesn't take away not 1 ounce of credibility from them. But you start getting into the Rock Nation payola and how Rock Nation may be funneling money to Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club and why they can't criticize Jay-Z or Desiree Perez or nobody around Rock Nation. You start getting into that bag, Dame, you would have cooked. But you kind of like shied away from it almost instantly. Now, Charlamagne and Dame got like really heated throughout this entire interview. Now, I'm shocked they didn't start throwing blows.
Black men that are gay should say they're gay.
Well, I'm not gay.
You are. You're gay. Anyway, now let me talk
Then
to
you're
you.
broke.
Let me
If
ask
I'm
you.
gay, you're broke.
Let me say this. You acting like a girl.
You move like an old auntie. You an old Harlem auntie.
I could punch you right in your face
Why?
like a grown man. I won't.
And then we gonna
and
fight.
you won't do shit.
Dame, this is with the
That's
Chatty
not right.
Patty. So just
Now,
so
let's not
you
get
know, because I knew you was going to
Yeah,
say
nah,
that.
I've
is
seen
one
you
thing.
run.
Yes.
That's it. I
That was
seen you.
before the guy.
I'm not
Let's
saying I
be
will.
respectful. Let's
I'm
be
saying
respectful.
no. Then
Let's be respectful.
your version of respectful is different than mine. We were on the street right now and you were talking like that. I would have fucked you up.
And you
But
got
I'm not
beat
going to
up.
do that. Nah, I wouldn't have got beat up.
But
No,
Dame,
I wouldn't have got beat up. Let's end this. So let me say one more thing before I leave.
I had so many questions.
All right. Oh, you're right.
How you want to leave? You can't get in your emotions and want to leave, Dame.
Well, no, what I'm saying is when you interrupt me and you say certain things, so where I'm from, the masculine man will fuck you up.
Yeah,
but
you said
because
you gonna
wait, let
punch
me
me in my
finish.
face,
No,
and
I
I'm letting
didn't.
you know
I
that's
said
not gonna happen.
I didn't say I said I could, and you wouldn't do anything.
And we gonna fight.
I didn't see that on tape. You ran.
Yeah, because it was 4 guys, but that's cool.
I
But-
fought.
but a fair
Wait.
one?
Ask what happened when 30 guys jumped me?
Respect.
I got that ass whipping,
Respect.
but I fucked them up.
I think it's been some head trauma ever since.
Yeah. Hey, yo, pause. Come on, man.
This is what Dame wanted, by the way. He wanted to come in here and cause this.
he said boundaries. He said some Chatty Patty stuff that's absolutely not true.
So let's address it. Let's
And then he
unpack
goes.
it. Let's unpack it. Let's unpack it. Pause. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
So a lot of the things you say on here are not true. A lot. And I'm saying what
I'm taking Dame Dash in a fight over Charlamagne 10 out of 10 times. I would say that I do agree Charlamagne the God would fight back. Like, I don't feel like Charlamagne the God will sit there and let Dame Dash punch him and then run away. Charlamagne the God would fight back, but Dame Dash, like, literally like a step away from like a golden glove at some point. Like, Dame Dash has like been boxing for 20, 30 years. Like, I don't feel like Charlamagne the God is keeping up with Dame Dash, even in his elder age right now. But here's where the interview gets funny, and here's where Dame Dash made a really big mistake. So during the interview, I guess Dame Dash was trying to prove to him that he wasn't bankrupt, that he wasn't broke. Dame Dash made a mistake during the interview by telling him that apparently he was going to be the chairman of Revolt, that the announcement was coming shortly and coming soon. Here's the thing about saying something like this about a company with employees, okay? It's a really big deal. The change of a chairman is a really big deal for a company like Revolt. So when you say something like this, A, it has to be true. 2, if it's not true, it has some steep consequences.
We'll think that. But
And I didn't mind you interrupting me to do that.
I apologize, but I wanted to clear things up.
I appreciate that. So every time I was launching something with my family office, he sent a letter saying that, you know, I'd owe the money, but it was my family office, but it muddies the waters. So if you have a contract, especially you working here, and somebody sent a bum letter, as soon as it's a lawyer, it shuts down. Mm-hmm. It muddies the waters. And I was about to make some major announcements. You want to hear one?
Sure.
I'm now the chairman of Revolt right now, and I also I have 15.
You don't deserve to be the chairman of Revolt.
I got you. So I'm now the chairman of Revolt with a pathway.
Again,
you see, because he wants to trigger me, and I want you to acknowledge that. So I'm now Cam's boss, the chairman of Revolt with a pathway to acquisition. I've been trying to buy
now,
Revolt.
How do we know this is not Cap? We ain't see this on Deadline.
Can you stop yelling? Can you stop interrupting me, please? So Deadline didn't make the announcement for this particular situation. They didn't want to. I had an announcement I was going to make with BT, but Paramount stepped in and they said do it later, and they didn't want to be a part of this mess. But it will be in something. This gets played tomorrow, so the announcement will be in the trades tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to buy Revolt, and I also just did a 25-episode deal for my podcast for Bosses Take Losses, and I'm putting all my content on Revolt.
I don't know why Dame Dash said this, because taking everything in consideration, what's out there, what Dame Dash just said was a lie. Like, it was cap. It was not true. I think this was his attempt to get back at Cameron, where Cameron and 50 Cent linked up to do the Paid in Full documentary when Dame Dash, I guess at some point, had exclusive rights to Paid in Full. So Dame Dash goes on the Breakfast Club and say, hey, I'm the chairman at Revolt, where Cameron just signed his new deal to do a solo podcast on Revolt. Now I'm Cameron's boss. But here's the thing. That would work if it was true. If it's not true, it makes you look like a maniac. Because after the interview, Dame Dash began to repost like this Revolt article where Revolt is claiming that they spoke to the CEO and the CEO confirmed that Dame Dash is the new chairman. Revolt never made an official announcement, but Dame Dash is claiming the announcement is from this article in Vibe, which to me is like a red flag, because if you was the new CEO of Revolt or the new chairman of Revolt, Revolt would put out an official announcement, but they didn't, right? The Vibe article is claiming they spoke to a CEO at Revolt, which to me is sketchy to say the least. So people began to investigate this. Lauren LaRosa then made a tweet, and she claimed she spoke to a publicist, the lead publicist at Revolt, and they said to her that Dame Dash was not the chairman. So you know what Dame Dash did? Dame Dash then I went ahead and reposted Lauren and her reporting, and Dame Dash says, Cap, here goes the BS. Stop lying. Please say their names. Why would Lauren LaRosa need to lie about speaking to a source at Revolt who told her that you're not the CEO, buddy? And he even blamed like Charlamagne the God for Lauren LaRosa's reporting, because he would say, Charlamagne, I would advise you not to make up phony sources without real names, saying that anything I said was not true or we will have a legal problem. Don't try to compromise my reputation. I have proof to support everything I say that will stand up in any court. So now he's threatening to sue Charlamagne the God for defamation. But here's where everything falls apart for Dame Dash. Shade Room obtained an email that Revolt sent to employees earlier this morning after Dame Dash interview aired. And in this interview from the CEO of Revolt to employees, they confirmed that Dame Dash is capping. So the email from the actual CEO, and he says, I know some of you might have caught Dame Dash interview on the Breakfast Club today. To set the record straight, Dame Dash is a hip-hop pioneer with a proven track record as a creator. Yes, we've been in conversation about potential partnerships, things like licensing his shows and films for Revolt, but there is no signed deal. He is not the chairman of our company. There is no acquisition path on the table. The quote from me in Vibe is completely fabricated. I never said any of that. If anything that major were happening, you hear from it directly. Okay, now here's what's the truth, and they list what they got coming up. So Dame Dash is telling people that there's this path for acquisition. He's gonna own Revolt, and he's only going to license his shows to Revolt if ownership is on the table, because he's not an employee. Come to find out, that's all cap. I don't know where Dame is gonna go from this, because this right here to me is really embarrassing, and his reputation will really take a hit. Because to just make this up out the blue is like kind of crazy, right? To me, it's kind of weird. Now, I don't know if Dame Dash was misled and now they're kind of like drawing it back, but to just make this up out the blue is kind of weird. It makes me feel maybe Dame Dash don't got it all up here. Maybe Dame Dash is going through some things. But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? Do y'all believe, man, that Dame Dash is telling the truth and everybody is lying? Let me know in the comment section. And what was y'all take with this interview if you did watch it? Let me know in the comment section. And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my screen, here, or here on my screen to find out about this huge Jim Jones drama, okay? Why people is apparently calling Jim Jones a snitch. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. Out of here, folks. Peace.